everyone. Well, we have a very interesting topic today, cannabis. What are the therapeutic effects of cannabis? For talk about this topic, we have a fourth generation herbalist, Oski. He's joining me live. He is originally from Jamaica, but joining me live from Atlanta, and he's also a cannabis expert. So thank you so much, Oski, for joining me.
Thank you for having me, sister.
Thank you. So I'll let you talk about cannabis. The floor is all yours.
So, one of the questions was, is marijuana medicine? Is cannabis medicine? It absolutely is medicine. It is one of the most powerful plant medicines that have been utilized by mankind for the last millennia. It is highly touted in Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, and has been used, has been transported to the West by way of indentured servants from India and made its way over here in its home in places like South America, Mexico, and of course, the Caribbean. So the problem now, it's a food medicine. Cannabis is a whole entire plant medicine. It's just the part that gets you high, the one characteristic called THC, is just one powerful aspect of it, but it has a plethora of other cannabinoids, hundreds of them, and thousands of different combinations of them, which all potentiate each other, that make up this powerful medicine, right? Along with that, it's got phytochemicals, phytonutrients from the chlorophyll, the leaves. Cannabis is best used as medicine in its raw and whole state, meaning not just the flowers, the leaves, the roots, the seeds, and the flowers. All parts of this plant have high power medicine in them. Now, there's a common misconception that cannabis is smoked for medicine. This is not true. Smoking cannabis is not its medicinal value. You don't smoke cannabis to treat terminal or degenerative illnesses. Smoking cannabis is for symptom relief. It is for different acute symptom relief, such as pain, neuropathy, spasmodic activity, such as seizure activity, Tourette syndrome, tics, different type of anxiety issues like PTSD have and things like that, diabetic and different type of nerve and pain and mental issues. Smoking is used for acute treatment, but it is not for the treatment of terminal and degenerative illnesses. That means to do that, cannabis must be ingested, preferably in its whole plant state, right? Either in its whole plant state, raw, or extracted as such, right? There are two different metabolizations of cannabis that happen there are two different types when we inhale it and when we ingest it. When we inhale cannabis and we smoke it, for one, we're burning off a bunch of the materials that are beneficial to us. I have one. We're activating a couple of them and absorbing them in our lungs, and that is metabolizing it as delta 9 THC. This has those powers for the nerves, this and that, but this is not going deep into the root of the problem. When you ingest cannabis and you eat it, your digestive system metabolizes it into 11-hydroxy THC. This is a way stronger, more full medicinal delivery. Your body absorbs it. It takes longer to get in there. It takes longer to get out. It goes into your cells more completely. It isn't just a fast-acting treatment for something that's happening acutely. It is a detoxification. It is a balancing of the system. The mechanism which cannabis works in is the key to our homeostasis. Homeostasis, as you know, is our body's balance. It's like our air conditioner system. If something's too high, it balances back down low. Something's too low, it puts back to, it keeps everything in balance. We have an endogenous cannabinoid system that is called the cannabinoid system because it genetically matches the plant of cannabis. This plant is so closely related to us that it matches us genetically. It's like a key. It goes into our endogenous cannabinoid system and turns on our system and makes it start healing at full power. It makes our homeostasis turn on and go to full speed ahead. So it gives us our best opportunity, our best likelihood at healing, along with a lifestyle that does with it. There is no such thing as a cure-all. There's no plant or no herb or no pill or anything that's magic you can take and just reverse a lifestyle of ill health. So When I speak of cannabis, I speak about it in a holistic manner, in applying it to a holistic lifestyle in order to maintain wellness, prevent, or treat disease, right?
Okay, so I think that's great. So follow-up questions. What is the compound, right? Let's talk a little bit on the science and the research part, a little bit on
Sure.
cannabis. What is the compound in cannabis that helps us with homeostasis? That's number one. And then when we take cannabis, you said it has the whole form, not smoking. What happens in our brain, right? Because the homeostasis is coming and it's doing all these interaction in our brain. So explain us the science and the research part of cannabis.
Absolutely. Well, what is happening in cannabis, it isn't one chemical that is causing this homeostasis. What makes it so special is it has what is called an entourage effect. It is the onslaught of all these different healing terpenes, flavonoids, phytonutrients, phytochemicals, plus these cannabinoids that are in their own right in their respective very, very powerful medicines, working all together and potentiating one another. This is a huge punch of a plethora of different medicines all inside of one plant. Now, there are plenty of different plants there are other plants in the plant kingdom that have cannabinoids in them, that have properties that act like cannabinoids. 1, 2 here, because our brain has cannabinoid receptors that pick up these cannabinoids connect to and make these things happen. We have CB1 receptors in our brain and CB2 receptors predominantly in our spleen. And that works with our body, and the other one works with our brain and our other systems, right? So cannabis in itself, to the brain, it works as a neuroprotective to the brain, and analgesic, a remyelinative to the nervous system, like it rebuilds it. And it removes and prevents the plaque damage that causes Alzheimer's, right? Now, when people look up research on cannabis, they have to understand that it has been demonized for the past 80 years by forces that wanted to have it out of the way so they could make their own products. Pharmaceuticals, it started with the textile industry because cannabis is also hemp. And hemp was what they used to make everything back in the day, right? So the textile industry came in and wanted to get it out of the way. So they demonized it, saying that, it was coming from the Mexican immigrants and it was devil's weed and this and that, and put it a racial aspect of it and everything on it so that it would be outlawed. And when it was outlawed, the pharmaceutical company picked it up because plenty of medicines back in the day, even America, were made with cannabis as its base because of its healing power. They, in the 30s, took over medicine and put holistic practitioners and all their herbs and whatnot at the stake. And cannabis was in the front of it because it was one that actually had psychedelic effects. So they could call it a drug and they could very well demonize it in that way. Ever since that, research has been done to prove cannabis deadly, fatal, bad, poisonous, toxic. They've done everything to prove that. They have not been able to, right? They have been falsified research. They've done stuff like smoke monkeys until they die with the smoke and tried to do all type of craziness to prove it bad, and they could not find any way it could kill anybody, right? So if you look at research now, talking about cannabis in the brain and this and that, you're gonna see lots of the research from America and from the past in the realm of drugs and addiction and toxicity and all type of things, because they have not been researching it as a medicine. They're researching it as a drug being smoked in a population with a ton of other control groups going on that you really can't even account for. When you want to look up cannabis research in today's world, you want to look at Israel and places like that, other countries that have been having forward research and not had it banned like we have had over here for so long, and been doing research in its medicine and medicinal value. Dr. Raphael Mechoulam and those type of folks who have been actually researching it and its benefits on and finding out its breakthroughs on even treating COVID and all these new things that are coming out. So the forward research is just now happening in America because legalization is just happening. But most of the research done on cannabis from the past is bad propaganda-based research. And when it starts to prove that cannabis is good, it will be cut off and the funding will be stopped. You understand? So when people research cannabis, use an open mind, understand that this plant was taken away from us so people could make profits in its stead. right? And when they research it, look at who is doing the research and follow research that's doing forward studies using it as medicine, and not research talking about it being smoked in the general public. Because cannabis being smoked is not its medicinal value. That's its symptom treating stuff right there, right?
Okay, so that's fine. So now the cannabis that is of therapeutic use, should it be given by a holistic practitioner such as yourself or a medical doctor? I mean, we can't go, like an average person like me cannot go and say, okay, I have anxiety, as an example, right? A lot of us have anxiety. Right. So give me some cannabis and I'm going to take it and I'm going to be fine, you know? So right. I'm just trying to understand, does it have to be with a professional such as yourself, or an average person, can they just do it? Is it safe for them to take it from a therapeutic, only the therapeutic, not as a recreational, right?
Well, here's the thing. If someone who has never dealt with it before and completely new, you're going to want a caregiver that understands it. And I'm not talking about someone who's just going to recommend you a strain or a variety, because that has nothing to do with anything. We have to, you want to assess your psychological state. You want to assess your illness. You want to assess every single part of what's going on with you and individualize it. See, the power of cannabis, it having this plethora of different medicines in it, means that it can pretty much treat every different condition, every individual, but it has to be manipulated to each individual, right? What treats me and how I use my cannabis to treat me can activate your condition, because I may be using it to stimulate me and you need it to relax you, right? And if you're using the same way as me, you get the stimulation properties of it. So there are ways to use cannabis. There are ways to manipulate cannabis to get it to work how you need it to work, and ways to build tolerances up so that you're able to apply it properly without having the effects so strong that you can't, complete your tasks and whatnot. There are ways to, people have to understand that you need to learn the medicine. It's going to take a little bit of time. It isn't just you take it now. Because it's so powerful, people have instant results all the time. And that's why it's getting touted so much and it's so popular, because people do get instant results. But that may not be the case, especially if you're treating something that's, that's been nagging and going on for a while. It's to be applied with a lifestyle of wellness. That's another thing that people get discouraged with the cannabis, because they go taking it and the practitioner is only giving them cannabis and nothing else. And their lifestyle is still full of, processed food and inactivity and lack of sleep and high stress. And these things, cannabis can't overtake all that stuff. It can give you a push and it can help you heal, but it's not going to turn back time. So people need to understand, and the reason why I suggest coming to someone like myself or my team, which is Plants for Life, is because we understand that cannabis is part of a holistic lifestyle, right? And if you want the cannabis to work, the best results, if you want to use it for healing purposes. Now, if you're just planning on using it for, general relaxation, and you just want to use it like, say, people use wine in the evening, and I hate to compare it to alcohol, because it's really, even if you're using it recreationally, you're still getting more benefits than you're getting bad, even if you're just smoking a joint in the evening to relax your nerves in the evening, the stress relief benefits, the activation of the endocannabinoid system, all these things outweigh the negatory parts of the smoke. When they're talking about smoke and chemicals like that, like they're looking at things in a chemical fashion. They're not seeing how much the positive properties negate the other ones, right? They're just simply throwing one molecule against this means this and bad. So smoking cannabis, and even better to do it, is vaporize it. There's other ways to inhale it and get what you need out of it, right?
Okay.
Me,
I think this is more. We just do a quick 10-minute, 15-minute
yeah,
session.
it's a lot. The thing about it's so much that there's no way to explain it and talk about it in a 15-minute session, right? Yeah. But definitely, if someone is going to go about it and they're new to it, you want someone who is not just knowledgeable about the flower and smoking it. You want someone who is knowledgeable about its applications, of how to use it to treat a different condition. You need someone who is knowledgeable. If you have diabetes, for example, you need someone who knows how to make a tea out of it, right? To help you with your blood sugar levels, and someone who knows how to make a topical out of it as well, to treat your diabetic neuropathy and wound care, right? Because cannabis, that same material can be used to make a bunch of different things, right? If someone has diabetic neuropathy and have pain and wound care, you can use the same plant to do different things with it, but you need to know you need someone who knows how to manipulate the plant to do that type of stuff, right? And it takes not just an herbalist, but a herbalist who understands ganja, who understands this plant for their life. And I mean, unfortunately, and this is my concern, this is why a lot of my focus is the holistic community, because we have a divide. Because cannabis has been outlawed so long, the holistic community hasn't had a chance to grasp it and understand it. So it's been left out of their practice. So whereas the people who know cannabis don't know anything about holistic lifestyle, the people who know holistic lifestyle don't know anything about cannabis. That's a problem. I'm trying to bring this knowledge to the holistic community. The people, the folks who are in the Western medical healthcare conventional system and feel like that's the first route, they're not going to pay attention to cannabis until last case scenario, because that's what Western medicine says. But holistic community should know that cannabis is a first course of action, right? And we need to understand how to use it properly. We need to understand that it's not just a smoking, and we need to not be going back and forth about the smoking and this and that. And no, just understand what it is and how to use it. And every part of it is medicine, and how it is medicine and how it's applied.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I think it's a very interesting and controversial topic, which and it's so useful to understand, the therapeutic part. See, all of us in the past think of cannabis as a joint. I mean, that is the impression. That you want to take a joint to get high, but that is also true. We are not saying that's not true, but then there's a therapeutic part of it which has been sort of like not been uplifted to a point where it had to be uplifted from a research.
Well, it's been suppressed.
Exactly, it has been suppressed.
It's been directly suppressed.
Right. So that is where what we want to bring is the therapeutic part of it, not the high part of it. We're talking about this community right now, and that's why we're trying to bring this topic out in the open for discussion. So thank you so much, Oski, for really being with us and educating us about the therapeutic part of it. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend. And may I say one time, we are coming out with a book. Our company is Plants for Life, Plant-Based Lifestyles and Ancient Nutritional Treatment Strategies. And the book is about prevention and treatment of the most common diseases killing people, including using holistic living, botanicals, including cannabis, right? And I'm working on it with Dr. Felicia Dawson and Nurse Marilyn Pierce, and it's coming pretty soon. So we're here for you.
Yes, and we will be working together to put together simple workshops that people can, all of us can use simple herbs, simple plants on a daily, for home remedies or a daily purpose. That Absolutely. Also we are get together with that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I'll teach people how to blend cannabis with other herbs to get the best out of different types of treatments. Yeah. That's my thing.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister. Have a good one.